So this young man was in a relationship with a girl that did not want to have intimacy with him, right? He would literally beg her for intimacy. He always tried to wine and dine her, buy her gifts, but she just wasn't going. Now, mind you, this is his girlfriend, right? He settled down to be with this woman, and she's not trying to take care of his needs. Now, he only gets it like once a month, and that's if he lucky, right? So he got sick and tired of it, right? So one day, the girl was like, hey, can we spend some time? So he was like, yo, I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm around you every day. You're not giving me what I need. And to be honest with you, I don't even want to spend time with you. So she felt like that was very unreasonable, got mad and was like, why you don't want to spend time with me? Because I just don't want to, give you none. He said, no, I feel like you're very attractive, extremely attractive. I want you every second, but I can't have you. Then he explained to her, that's like you starving and I put like your favorite food in front of you and tell you no, you can't have it. So when he said that, it kind of registered to her like, yo, I might be doing something wrong. So she tells him, okay, just spend some time with me and then, we can have intimacy. He heard that 1,000 times and he did not want to fall for the okie doke. So he said, you know what? I'm not in the mood right now. So I'll just probably have to do it some other time. So she gets really heated, tells him, well, you ain't getting none then, and storms out the room. Couple of days go by. He's still irritated. She's still irritated. They not talking to each other. Next thing you know, 2 weeks go by. Now they talking to each other, but he not asking for intimacy. So now she's confused on why he's always out the house. He never wants to be in the house. Now she's thinking, could it just be he don't want to be around me, or did he find somebody else? Now this young lady is madly in love with this dude and she want to be with him for the rest of her life. She just seemed like she don't want to be intimate. So one day she texts him and says, hey, we got to talk when you get in. And he says, yes, I think we should do that. So a couple hours go by. He walks in the house and then she was like, hey, how was your day? He said, listen, it was fine, but I want to get straight to this conversation. So she says, okay, let's get into it. I realize that you've been very distant. Why is that? He takes a deep breath. I found somebody that take care of my needs. Her mouth dropped and says, what do you mean by that? He looks at her and says, I'm not even going to waste your time. And I'm sorry that I wasted a little time that I did. I'm just going to pack my stuff and wish you the best. She jumps up and says, hold up. Ain't no way you finna just tell me. What do you mean by that? He says, Cassandra, I told you I'm about to pack my stuff and go. She says, just let me know if you've been sleeping with somebody else. He puts his hands up and says, listen, I'm about to pack my stuff so I can go. So she storms out, knocks on her neighbor door. Doom, 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 doom. Her neighbor opens the door and look like she is scared for her life. She looks at her neighbor and says, girl, this man just told me. The neighbor stopped her and finished her sentence and said, he's been cheating with me. She jumped back because she actually thought that they was friends. She looks at her and says, are you serious? He didn't tell me he was cheating with you. So now the neighbor mouth dropped and says, oh, I spoke too soon. The young lady grabs her chest, heartbroken and confused, and says, but why? Why would you sleep with my man? You got a man. The neighbor said, my man is never home. He never spends time with me. I was just vulnerable. And your man was vulnerable. We was just two vulnerable people. The young lady looked at her disgusted and said, that's no excuse. The young lady looked back at her and said, it's only no excuse to you because you ain't been in our shoes. She says, I'm lonely every single night and I want my man to be here with me. And that man wants you every single night, but he can't get you. So both of us feel like two unwanted people by people we love. She stopped her and said, ain't no way he feel unwanted. I love that man and I always show him love. But then the neighbor says, but you don't love him how he want to be loved. The young lady gets mad and says, yeah, you just desperate for attention. The young lady jerked her head back and said, but your man was desperate for intimacy. But it's okay because I took care of that. The young lady says, you know what? Watch this. Wait till your man get home. I'm going to tell him everything. She said, oh, you don't have to worry about him. I actually kicked him out. And me and Marcus actually finna get a place together. She's looking totally confused and says, "My Marcus?" The neighbor said, "Nah, he's mine now." The young lady wanted to swing so bad, but she took a deep breath and ran back in the house and talked to Marcus. She goes back in the house screaming and yelling and fussing at Marcus. Marcus is not fazed by this at all. As she's crying, she says, "Marcus, how could you ever do this to me? Why would you do this to me?" Marcus said, "I didn't do this to you. You did this to yourself." She said, "Now you're trying to manipulate me." So Marcus says, "Listen, you didn't give me what I needed to keep this relationship going." He said, "For example, if your tank on E and you don't put gas in your car to get to your destination, would you get to your destination?" She said, "Why is you asking me this?" He said, "To prove a point. Now, if you don't put gas in your car, would you get to your destination?" She said, "No, I wouldn't get to my destination, but that don't make sense why you asking me this." He said, "What I'm trying to tell you is you didn't gas the car to get to your destination. Your car need gas to get you to where you need to go. And I needed intimacy as a man to get us to where we needed to go." So she's crying and she says, "So it's all about intimacy to you?" He said, "No, it's not just about that. Because you made me feel unwanted. You made me feel insecure. You made me feel bad about myself. And now I got somebody that can make me feel good or feel like a man again. I think that's what I want." So she started crying out, "Okay, I'll give it to you now." He chucks and says, "It's too late. You can give it to somebody else now." Now make sure y'all follow and type story time in the comments if y'all want more stories like this. And if y'all want to give me some ideas for a story time, definitely type that in the comments as well. And I'm going to come up with my own story. And remember, you ain't cool unless you follow me. So all the cool people, I'll see you in the next video.